Good evening, Brian. It's Wednesday. So on Monday's video, I talked about a couple different ways that the internet is making us better. I mentioned that we're able to stay in touch with more people now than we ever could before the internet. And I also talked about how each one of us now has the ability to learn more things than any other single person ever could before, and how amazing that is. But perhaps the most profound way that the internet can make us better people, though, is that it lets us learn from other people who are different than we are. Because of the internet, we have access to the opinions and knowledge and feelings and thoughts and experiences of other people. I'll always be a white man who grew up comfortably in a middle-class family in North Carolina, Brian. But because of the internet, I can begin to understand experiences that I'll never have. Hearing about the experiences of women and the everyday reality of living in our society makes me aware of all of the systems of oppression that are otherwise invisible to me. I can learn to notice all of the different ways in which I benefit from being male, and all of the ways that cards are stacked against people just because of their gender. I'll never have the experience of being a woman in our society, but the internet lets me at least hear from people who live that experience, and I can start to sort of understand what it's like. This opens my eyes to everyday ways this privilege manifests, how I contribute to it, and also how I can work to fight it. I can also hear from people of color and be made aware of how things that I take for granted and can overlook are ever present to people who don't have my privilege and experience. And I can take that new understanding and work to how to right some of those wrongs. Because of the internet, I can read stories of people who immigrate to America and also hear about the ways in which our culture is different from theirs, but more importantly, hear about ways in which we're very similar to they are. I can see the opinions and arguments of people who believe things very differently than I do, and I can start to understand why they feel the way that they do. On the surface, Brian, it's really easy to make assumptions about people who think differently than we do, but being able to see them explain and justify their positions, and to see them have an opportunity to voice those feelings, and to see them outline the various things that led them to believe the things that they do and feel the way that they feel, really works to help humanize them. I can see how I, if I were in their shoes, might start to feel the same way that they do about things. There are many, many ways in which we can make assumptions about people and their experiences, especially when they differ from our own. If I were limited to only the small number of people I directly interact with on a day-to-day basis, my picture of the world would be much different. But because of the internet, I can listen to and learn from people who experience things that I never will, and I feel that this can make me a better person to other people. Limited to my own experiences, my worldview would necessarily be much more self-centered and narrow-minded, but benefiting from the stories of others allows me to widen my perspective and have a better understanding of things. The internet itself is really just a giant network, and what it connects us to are other people. We can share and participate in their lives to a greater degree, and stay in touch with friends and family members better than we ever could before. We can collaborate and benefit from other people's knowledge, as well as share our own, and we can learn things and learn more things than we would have ever had the potential to learn if we were not always connected to this wonderful thing that is the internet. And we can also learn about the ways in which life is very different and, more importantly, very similar for other people who otherwise might seem different from us, and we can become better members of all of the various groups that we are in. We can just overall have a better understanding of the world and how it works, and also how other people move through the world and what their daily experience is like. And having that better understanding means that we will act towards people with more empathy and more understanding and more compassion. It means that we'll really better understand other people. Will we ever completely know what it's like to be someone different than we are? No. But because of the internet and because of the ways that it connects us to more people and lets us share in their experiences, we can sort of have a better understanding of how things are for them and the ways in which the things that we do affect them and how we can do those things better. What do you think, Brian? What are some other ways that you think the internet has made us better people? I look forward to hearing your answers, and I also look forward to seeing your video tomorrow and also seeing you tomorrow. And happy early Thanksgiving, Brian. I'll see you later.